A very good morning to one and all. Once again, welcome to economics class. In this class, we are going to see the second chapter of our economics. I request all the cadets to have a notebook and a pen to copy down the following point from this presentation. First, in our economics, we had completed the chapter number 1, development, and now we are going to see the chapter number 2. The name of the chapter number 2 is the sectors of the Indian economy. In this today's topic, we are going to see the introduction of this chapter, and we will see about the 3 sectors of economic activities. The sectors of economic activity, in that first we are going to see the introduction of this chapter. So, this chapter introduction already I had completed when you were present in the school. Next, move further. In this, we are going to talk about the primary, secondary, and tertiary activity. After that, the comparison between the 3 activities, how GDP is calculated, what is organized sector, unorganized sector, related to the unemployment, and so on. The following topic we are going to see in this chapter. We are going to see how the 3 sectors are contributing to the Indian economy. So let's get started. First, the introduction of this chapter is over. What we are going to study from this chapter. Next, sectors of Indian economy we will see. So, let us look at these pictures. You will find that the people are engaged in the various activities. So, I request all the cadets to observe the photograph first. So, this is the photograph. By seeing this photograph, all the cadets, you are understanding about the people here are working in a different sectors, right? So you can observe in this first photograph, bricks making. Here one coolie is there, luggage is there and carrying the luggage from one place to another. Here the women's in the agriculture field, they are harvesting the cotton. Here the woman is selling the clothes, right? So let us look these pictures and you will find that the people are engaged in the various activities. So dear cadet, please have our attention here as we are going to see the 3 sectors of the Indian economy. Here is the bifurcation of that, the primary, secondary and tertiary. Some of these activities producing the goods, some others are producing services, and these activities are happening around us every time, even as we speak. So as I'm speaking here, I'm just recording the video for you. So all the cadets, you are knowing about that everywhere all the activities are going on. So how do you understand these activities? One way of doing these is to group them or to classify them using some important criteria. So these groups are called as sectors. As our chapter name is the sectors of Indian economy. Here we are going to see about the 3 sectors of Indian economy. By this photograph, we are going to bifurcate the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. As the primary sector is also called as the producing sector. The secondary sector is also called as manufacturing sector. And the last tertiary sector is also called as the service sector. In the upcoming slide, we are going to see about the deep gestate form of all these sectors. So dear cadet, what are the sectors here we had classified? Here by this photograph, you have understand about what are the activities which are related to the primary sector, what are the activities which are related to the manufacturing sector, what are the activities which are related to the service sector or tertiary sector. Moving further and moving into the recapitulation of your 8th standard, in the 8th standard in geography only, you have studied about these 3 sectors of production, primary, secondary and tertiary, right? So not getting confused, both are same as you have studied in 8th standard. Here we are going to discuss in a detailed version of this one. First, there are many activities that are undertaken by directly using natural resources. Take, for example, the cultivation of cotton. It takes place within a crop season. For the growth of the cotton plant, we depend mainly, but not entirely, on the natural factor just like rainfall, sunshine, and the climate. So, first paragraph is talking about the cultivation of the cotton. As you have seen in the previous slide, the women are harvesting cotton. Rainfall, sunshine, and climate, these all are the natural factor we are depending on, but not entirely. Just for the rainfall, for the water purpose, but nowadays you are knowing about that we are having the other means of irrigations also, just like the tube well, canals, and so on. The product of this activity, cotton, right, is a natural product. Similarly, in case of an activity like dairy, we are dependent on the biological process of the animals and availability of the food. So, first point is about the natural occurring things over here. So, naturally we are getting the cotton, naturally we are getting the animals' food products and the availability of the fodders. So, by this two paragraph we are understanding about the primary sector, how in the primary sector the cotton grows in a natural way, right? I hope so. The primary one is clear to you. The product like milk also is a natural product. Similarly, minerals are and the ores are also the natural products. We produce a good by exploiting the natural resources. It is an activity of the primary sector. So, dear cadet, why primary? So, this is because it forms the base for all the other products that we subsequently make. So, dear cadet, here we are talking about the primary one. In the upcoming slides, it's going to be crystal clear to you what is the primary sector and how it's moved on. So, this is because it forms the base for all the other, right? It is forming the base for the other product. Since most of the natural products we get are from agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry. So, these sectors are called as agriculture and related to sector. So, dear cadet, please have a note to this. What is the primary sector, or we are forming? It's a agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, and all these are going to be called as agriculture and related to this agriculture sector. Next, the secondary sector covers the activities in which the natural products are changed into another form through way of manufacturing that we associate with the industrial activity. So, dear cadet, here we are going to talk about how the secondary sector is covering the activity with it is going to change the quantity, quality of the natural products and forming the different things in the industrial areas. It is the next step after the primary. The product is not produced by the nature but has to be made, and therefore some process of manufacturing is essential. This could be a factory, a workshop, or at home. So, here we are observing the following points. The secondary sector is also called as manufacturing sector, as I stated earlier. So, some manufacturing work is there. So, manufacturing work, the process of the things, in that the quantity, quality, and everything is change of that product, and it's going to be just like from the cotton we are going to have a cotton shirt. So, in the companies, in the industries, workshop, or at the home, the cotton is converted into the thread. From the thread, after that the cloth is made, and so on. In class only I made you to have one example from cotton, then thread, and after that the shirt available in the market. So, primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors we had seen. Next, moving further, for example, using cotton fibers from the plant, wispin yarn, and weave clothes. It's clear to you all? The example is clear to you. For example, we have taken cotton fiber, from that the plant, wispin yarn, and weave clothes. Using sugarcane as a raw material, we make sugar or gur or jaggery in English. We convert the earth into the bricks. That means from the mud, the bricks is made, and use bricks to make the houses and the buildings and the other things. Since the sector gradually become associated with the different kinds of industry that come up, it is also called as industrial sector. As the first sector we had seen about the primary sector, the second one is the industrial sector as it is associated with the number of industries. Next, I hope so this is clear to you all. Moving further to C. After the primary and the secondary, there is a third category of the activity that fall under the tertiary sector and is different from above two. These are the activities that help in the development of the primary and the secondary sector. I request all the cadets to please have attention. After the primary and secondary, we are going to have a third activity, and that is going to be called as the tertiary activities, which helps to develop both primary as well as the secondary. These activities by themselves do not produce a goods, but they can an aid or a support for the production purpose. So, for the growth and for the development of the two sector, primary and secondary, how the tertiary sector is giving the support and aid for the process in the production. For example, goods that are produced in a primary and a secondary sector would be need to be transported by the truck, train, and to be sold in the wholesale or in the retail shops. At times, it may be necessary to store these in godown. So here we are required the transportation facility, storage facility, and so on. So all these are going to be included in the tertiary sectors where we are giving the service. So tertiary sector is also called as the service sector. I hope so this two paragraph is clear to you. First one is talking about how the tertiary sector is enabling a support or helping the two sectors for the development. Second one, the example of the goods carrying from one place to another for the production of the primary and the secondary sectors. We had example of transportation as well as for the storing of the godowns. We also need to talk to others over telephone or send letters. That means we are going to talk about the communication. After that, or borrowing money from the bank, that means the banking. So transportation, communication, banking. So to help the production and the trade. So transport, storage, communication, banking, trade are the example of tertiary activity. So dear cadet, please have attention to this slide. We also need to talk with the other, and which means we require the communication facilities, right? To borrow the money from the bank, we require the banking. To help production and the trade, transportation, storage, communication, banking, and trade are the some examples of tertiary activity. Since this activity generates service, as I stated you earlier, thus this tertiary sector is also called as service activity. And the reason why service activities, because these activities are generating services rather than goods. So that's why the tertiary sector is also called as the service sector. So dear cadet, in examination then can be a question which is going to be asked, why the tertiary sector is going to be called as the service sector, why the manufacturing sector is also called as the industrial sector, right? Like that the question can be there. I hope so you will be able to write the answer correct and properly. So moving further to see the upcoming point from this presentation. Service sector also include some essential services that may not directly help in the production of the good. For example, we require teachers, as I am just now teaching to you online. So doctors and those who provide the personal services such as the washermen, barbers, cobblers, lawyers, and people to do the administrative and the accounting work. In recent time, certain new services based on information technology such as internet cafe, ATM booths, call centers, software company, etc. have become important. So this paragraph is totally talking about the expand of the service sector, how the service sector, as I'm using my all the skill and talent to teach you, right? So I'm serving to you. So that's going to be included in the service sector. The doctors are giving their services to the patients, so the doctors are also included in the service sector, just like the washerman, barber, cobbler, lawyer, and so on. So many more things are there just in the administrative or in the account works. So like that, here we are going to have the information technology also. Next, ATM booths, call centers, software company, they are also have become very important nowadays. So moving further, I hope so the primary, secondary and the tertiary sector is clear to you. Moving further to see in a detail one once. This is the primary. So this photograph is talking about the primary. That means the agriculture sector. Produce natural goods. So in the photograph is self-explanatory to have the number of the example of primary sector or the agriculture sector. Please observe the photograph clearly and properly. Have an eagle eye to the next photograph. Secondary, or we can speak about the industrial sector. Why industrial? As we already discussed about, as it is associated with a different industry, so it is also called as industrial sector, as the manufacturing of number of the goods are happening here. So you can see about the meal, dress, shoes, car, chair, produce, manufacture goods. Okay, please observe the photograph very properly, so it's going to be crystal clear for you what is the secondary sector and why it is called as the industrial sector. Next, tertiary sector, which is also known as the service sector. The first point is talking here, you are having the example of truck, that means the transportation, right? The different facilities the people are giving to other, helps to develop the other sectors. To dear cadets, I hope so by this example it is going to be clear to you what is the primary, what is the secondary and what is the tertiary sector. I required all the cadets to prepare the note in a proper way so that you can understand about what is the primary sector, why it is called as the agriculture sector, what is secondary sector, why it is called as industrial sector, what is tertiary sector and why it is called as service sector. So lastly, the points are given: produce natural good, produce manufactures good and help to develop the other sectors. So dear cadet, by this three photograph which I have taken from the textbook to make you understand from this slide the three sectors of the Indian economy, the three sectors, the introduction of this three sector is clear to you. Next, this is one activity. So table number 2.1, example of economic activity. So economic activity though are grouped into the three different categories are highly interdependent. Let us look at some examples. So dear cadets, here activity is for you. You can do in your textbook if you are having the textbook. If you don't have, please write this in your notebook and please do it. Take the screenshot and send it to me because this is your homework. In this activity, what you have to do, imagine what would happen if farmers refuse to sell the sugarcane to a particular sugar mill. The mill will have to shut down. So example is there, and what does this show? This is an example of the secondary or industrial sector being dependent on the primary. Clear? What does this show? So like that, imagine what would happen to the cotton cultivation if company decide not to buy from the Indian market and import all the cotton they need from the other country. Clear? So please do it and let me know that. After that, let's work these out. So question number 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is also your homework. Please read all the questions. If you are facing any doubt and difficulty, please let me know that. These are the very valuable activities. Let's work these out. Please, this is also homework. Please do it and send your homework from the WhatsApp to me. Lastly, I want to thank to each and everyone for watching this video. Please observe all the video up to the 20 minutes, so it's going to be crystal clear for all the specific points which I am discussing for you. Thanking to one and all. Jai Hind to one and all.